colleague Rohit Sharma is now joining us with more details on this. Rohit, yet another shooting being reported, yet another protester has been fatally shot dead by the immigration agents in Minneapolis. Give us more details on it. What exactly unfolded?
Really unfortunate images indeed coming from Minneapolis. We saw a 37-year-old Alex Petty who lost his life. He went out there in Minneapolis to protest the operations that have been going on for some time in Minneapolis. We saw Renee Goodlaw, who also was trying to do something similar. She was trying to get away from the agents when she was shot in her car. And today we see Alex, who was shooting these ICE officers and Border Patrol agents on his phone. We've seen from different angles that, he was there, he was trying to protest, but he was presumed to be presenting a threat to the Border Patrol agents. He was carrying a gun and the Border Patrol agents felt threatened. They tried to push him down, as we've seen those images. They took the weapon from him. And then after that is where it gets a little trickier in terms of what has happened. Now, a lot of video evidence does show that that the gun was taken away from him. So did he possess any more threat? We do not know. There are talks about, and DHS has said that he might have tried to fire around. Again, we do not know. I think that's something will be the part of the investigation. But this is second such death. He is a U.S. citizen. He was serving in the ICU as a nurse. He, again, was just a protester out there. But then what was he doing carrying a gun? I think that's one of the most important focal points of this controversy. The other aspect is, we've seen thousands of ICE agents in Minneapolis and who are trying to carry out President Trump's agenda of finding the worst of the worst and deporting them. So this has been going on for a while. It kind of flared up in January 7th when we saw Renee Goodlaw, who lost her life 3 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago. And then today, again, same city, protesters out there, and kind of the same pattern where the Border Patrol agent felt threatened, and they had to do is to basically control this person. And then in that confrontation is when they shot him and he lost his life.
Right. In fact, Rohit, there are protests that have turned violent, and the protesters are also protesting not just against the ICE agents, but also against Donald Trump, who is backing this kind of crackdown. In fact, we saw the kind of reaction from the president that came after the last shooting that was reported on January 7th.
Again, should have idly been. Also said that the local authority reiterated Trump's administration's position that the officer was acting in self-defense. Now, Governor Tim Walz differs from that, and he's called his lies. He's also said that the local authorities have been barred from investigating an incident, which again should have idly been done in conjunction with federal agents, but then they should have access to the crimes, to the scene, to be able to talk to the Border Patrol agent who who fired those rounds. So I think there is that political aspect to the investigation where I think Governor and just it feels that they have not been involved, and they should be involved in conducting a free and independent investigation, while Department of Homeland Security does not think that they need to do that. In fact, Kristi Noem said that you can't trust Governor Tim Walz to do an independent investigation. Another aspect is he was a lawful gun owner, meaning he has the right to carry and conceal his weapon. But then again, what was he doing, taking that gun to a protest, non-violent protest, I should say. So there's going to be some kind of interesting political dynamic at play. But right now, the investigation is being done by the Department of Homeland Security, and they've said that they will complete the investigation, and obviously it'll be for all of us to see what they conclude.
Rohit, also help us understand, do these federal immigration agents have the legal authority to shoot down these protesters?
Well, look, President Trump has been clear. He's been in the office for a year in the second term. He wanted to ensure that there's all the funding that goes to Homeland Security, especially to ICE and Border Patrol, and he's done that. And he is on a mission to carry out deportation of the worst criminals. Now, in that, we've obviously seen that some people have been arrested that were not in some way, shape, or form not the worst of the worst. But again, I think that's his agenda. I don't think he will back down from it. In fact, there are calls about him invoking the Insurrection Act, which would allow the military to be deployed in Minnesota, meaning making sure that there is no interference from the state government. He hasn't done that yet, but that's something at his disposal. Minnesota has been in controversy for a lot of other reasons, including fraud, including targeted missions to expose frauds carried out by people from or people who have had Somalian immigrant roots. So that also has been irking the president. In fact, even Ilhan Omar has been a target of the president. So I don't think the president would back down or his plans would back down. What we could see is there's going to be a funding bill that is pending, and it was supposed to go and fund the DHS. And I think we could see some political drama play out in Washington, D.C. about what kind of funding they would want to provide to DHS in the light of these events that we've seen in the past 3 weeks. So, but I honestly don't think that there will be a change, of course, from this administration as far as ICE and their operations are concerned.
So much for getting us all those details. So Trump's immigration crackdown has turned violent once again. 37-year-old Alex Pretty has been shot dead by the Fed officers. Minneapolis has once again turned into a battlefield after the shootout. Remember, this is the second such killing which is being reported this month. This happened on Saturday, that is January 24th. The last such incident in which a woman was shot dead was reported on January 7. As per the immigration officials, Alex, the 37-year-old, was armed and he had 2 loaded magazines, which was the reason why they killed him. This is what is being claimed by the ICE agents. Widespread protests are happening in U.S. against the immigration officers as well as Donald Trump also, because Donald Trump is backing the ICE agents, and the protesters are also slamming the president. There are fierce protests on the streets of United States, and meanwhile Donald Trump has posted a picture of the ICE agent's finger chopped off.